Yeah, what's up? All right, let's do this shit. New setup. I know I said I was gonna get rid of the green screen, but it's still here because it looked like shit without it. It's just a white wall, reflects weird, like diffusion, blah, 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 blah. So green screen for now, but a little more comfortable setup for me so I can be a little more comfortable and not just have a fucking camera in my face and I'm just like, cool. So UFC 277, that's what we're talking about today. Gonna give you guys my predictions for the main card. Because I don't feel like going through early prelims and prelims. Maybe down the line I'll start covering those things for you and actually giving you some background on these lesser known fighters and stuff like that. But to start off and to just so I can get used to doing these type of things, we'll start with the main card. And yeah, let's go through this. I'm super excited for this card. Starting off with Anthony Smith and Magomed Ankalaev. Anthony Smith kind of took away all my content from me on this fight because he's just really reciprocating how I feel about it. I don't really see what people are seeing as he's a negative 45 favorite. That's bonkers to me. That's bonkers. Why? What have we seen from Anthony Smith that would make us think anybody would run through him like that? Like Glover ran through a depressed, anxious, not all there Anthony Smith. I really think that Glover fight just changed how people look at Anthony Smith. The Glover and Rakic fight, because he just wasn't there those fights. He was just collecting money and just going with the motions, and it just that just shows you who Anthony Smith is. This guy can show up to a fight, not prepare for it, and just go through the motions and still come out okay. Not get finished, not get a serious injury, still come back and beat a lot of, I think he's on a 3-fight winning streak, beat a lot of uppercomers. He did everything he needed to do. And I feel like people forget that Anthony Smith is not that old either. So he's still learning, he's still getting better. And I don't see what Magomed has that Anthony Smith can't handle. He's not gonna grapple like Alexander Rakic did. And he's not as strong, I wouldn't say either. He probably has that slower, tight jiu-jitsu strength. But if he's gonna try to strike with Anthony Smith is not gonna let him just get fundamentals off. Anthony Smith is gonna take to get, and Anthony Smith hits like a truck. And I think we all forget that. I think we all forget that picture of John Jones with his jaw like over there. And then it also makes us forget about John Jones's chin, because Anthony Smith sleeps people with that punch. And he landed it. He knows how to land it. He knows how to wait for your mistakes. He's an analyst. He knows when your rhythm is broken. And that's when he decides to attack. Which is kind of like what John Jones did to him the whole time. Completely shut him down. Every time he thought about attacking, he got attacked. So I'm riding with Anthony Smith here, especially on a betting standpoint. That is, go get your money. Because there's a great chance Anthony Smith wins this. And it's just, Magomed is just being pushed up because he's a Russian-looking Russian who people are comparing to Khabib. That's just the new trend in the UFC. Everybody's loving that, and they want to get behind thinking that that's the next Khabib. He's not. He's a great fighter, but he hasn't seen the competition that he's gonna fight now. And when he's had some tougher competition, he tends to give lackluster performances. So I'm excited for the fight, though. I don't expect fireworks. I expect it to be grindy. And I expect it to go all 3 rounds. I don't think anybody's getting finished. I think it's gonna be a weird back and forth. But I think we might see Magomed in some trouble. We definitely will see Anthony Smith in trouble. But that's okay. That's where he thrives. Alex Perez and Alexander Pantoja. Alexander Pantoja, he's in a weird position because, I think his last fight, he beat Brandon Royval. And Brandon Royval, yeah. If you want to do some MMA math here, Brandon Royval probably should have beat Brandon Moreno, but his arm came out, and he was winning that fight. They were two scrambly little motherfuckers on the floor, and Brandon Royval has such a hyperactive style. Can you get out of there, bro? Get out. Thanks. He has such a hyperactive style that you get injured that way. that's kind of like when I've done practices before too, that's kind of like how I do things too. I'm a scrambler. And yeah, injuries come from there, especially if you're not paying attention to your body. And you maybe, when in a fight, you do things that are more likely to get you injured because it's trying to win the fight. It's not practice. So yeah, he dislocated his arm, and that's the only reason he really lost that fight. Now let's do some more MMA math. When Brandon Royval fought Kai Kara-France, it was a pretty close fight, and you got to see how good Brandon Royval is. There was one of the greatest sequences of them knocking each other down within like 5 seconds. Awesome fight there. Brandon Royval's a fucking problem. Really, seriously a fucking problem. Alexander Pantoja submitted him. And honestly, kind of made it look like they didn't even belong in the same ring. So after that happened, a lot of people thought Pantoja was going to fight for the championship, but then all this weird stuff with Brandon Moreno and Figgy started happening, and then he just kind of washed away. He didn't keep up with his say in his place. And in the UFC, if you don't keep up with your say, you're not going to have the position you had 8 months ago. You got to keep reminding people and reminding people and reminding people. People don't like what Conor does and what a lot of these fighters do, where whenever something exciting happens, they insert themselves into the conversation. Well, you're just inserting yourself into the fight combo. And that's where you need to stay, in the fight combo, so that people don't forget you. I say Pantoja wins this fight. Put your money on it. Derek Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich. This is one of the more interesting fights, believe it or not, because we have some changes going on here with Derek Lewis. And when we compare him on his come up to his last few fights, he has looked so timid and just what's the word I'm looking for? Just not wanting to be there. He's just so out of it. I'm really not finding the word. He's so... Hey, don't jump over there. Sony, do not. Anyways, he's so... I already forgot what I was saying so for. Anyway, his last few fights, he has not been that wanting to be there. We'll just stick with that one. And it showed. It showed in his performances. Even the last one, I know the last one, he said he felt better, and he just swung and banged with Tai Tuivasa, which is always somebody was gonna go to sleep there. So we can't really go by that fight. The Cyril Gane fight, he did not want to be there. He didn't even. That was such a weird fight to watch from Derek Lewis, because I don't know what was going on there. I felt that he just didn't want to be there. And it was almost like cringy watching, like, just get him out of there. Not like knock him out, but he just doesn't want to be in this ring, and he's gonna get hurt. He's happier now. He says he trains, he's learning more. So let's see. He's gonna go out there and bang with Sergey Pavlovich, and it's gonna be like another Tai Tuivasa thing. He mentioned that he feels the only reason he got knocked out against Tai, which makes me happy that he said that, because that tells me he's not. If you're still making up excuses for why you won, and you're still in the game. When you start thinking like, oh, maybe I don't have it anymore, or maybe then you're done, and you're gonna get your ass whipped next few fights, and you just can't be thinking about stopping while you're doing. So, hearing him just put it to, I made one mistake, which he did. Hearing him just put it to that gives me a little more confidence in picking him, because it's true. He was grappling Tai Tuivasa when he got hurt, which is the right idea, and then he let Tai get up. And Tai went hard when he got up. So Derek Lewis, with a little more wrestling, would have maybe put Tai back on the floor, held him down the area, maybe take away a little energy. With Sergey, I don't know if he's going to do that. I think these dudes are going to swing at each other. And Derek Lewis is crispy in the swing and bangs. Like, he knows his shots are tight. And if you want to talk about tight shots, just think about the Curtis Blaydes knockout. Like, it was the most perfect placement I ever seen, because it's literally like right when all the momentum of your punch starts, that's when Curtis Blaydes hit his fist. Not all the way. It was right when the of the momentum of that uppercut came, just boom. So his placement is like none other. So it's kind of a toss-up. The odds show it as a toss-up, but I'm leaning towards Derek Lewis, hoping for a resurgence. I seen the Black Bees do some crazy shit, and you just can't count them out. You really can't. But seeing him get slept like he did with Tai does give me a little, this is one of the ones that I'm not so sure about. That's why I say it's interesting. Brandon Moreno, Kai Kara-France, I'm towing it all the way to Kai Kara-France. Brandon Moreno's fought the same guy for the last few fights. Kai Kara-France has been fighting all the contenders. Brandon Moreno has been changing camps, has been changing everything around, which you might think, it goes, and it kind of, I don't want to contradict myself because I just said how that might be good for Derek Lewis, but Derek Lewis was more like a happiness standpoint, where it would seem like Brandon Moreno was more from like a technique standpoint. And when you go somewhere else for a technique, there's stuff you got to learn there. When you go somewhere else just to feel good and to get your workouts in, then it's more of doing, like making what you're already doing fun, which that's a positive. If you're completely changing how you're doing everything, especially technique-wise, in a fight, when you're supposed to use the technique, you might revert back to your old style, because that's what a lot of people will do in the midst of the moment. So I also feel like Kai Kara-France is growing more, or growing faster than Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno's striking is getting better, but especially at the last Figgy fight, Figgy is another person who's accelerating faster than Brandon Moreno. I saw how Figgy passed him, and they're doing the same thing. They're training for the same fights, but Figgy got better faster. And I think Kai Kara-France is doing that same thing. He's getting better, faster. He's in that little prime window where everything's just clicking and you're leveling up much faster. Kai Kara-France is gonna get this belt. It's gonna be a 5-round war, and it's gonna be a good fight. I'm actually excited for this one, but I think it's gonna be somewhat dominant on the Kai Kara-France side, and just because he's really just tuned up everything and he's been looking like a fucking killer. And last but not least, let's go to Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes. Amanda's taking this, guys. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care about money. I don't care about, you know, her motivation. I don't give a fuck about any of that. If there's one thing Amanda Nunes gives a fuck about, is about being the baddest bitch out there. It's about being the lioness, the king of the jungle. It got boring to her. But the fact of the matter is, she's not the king of the jungle anymore. And that's not okay with her. She showed up fit. She showed up ready. Mentally, physically, she's there. They were talking about it on the pre-fight show, about how night and day the difference in her conditioning looks. So this is an Amanda Nunes who really prepared. She was a little flabby the last fight. That's why she got tired. She thought she was going to go in there and Chris Cyborg her. If things got rough, you just swing, and when one clips, they'll go down. But she didn't go down. And she probably just let it all out in those punches. And when she didn't go down, it's just like, well, that was everything I had. Amanda Nunes has gone 5 rounds before against tough people. I think the Jermaine Durandamy fight is like a great example. Jermaine Durandamy is dangerous everywhere. So Amanda Nunes fought her everywhere. Standing up, on the cage, on the ground. She did everything she needed to do with Jermaine Durandamy for 5 rounds to win. Amanda Nunes can go 5 rounds, no problem. She's gone 5 rounds with Valentina Shevchenko. Everybody, and it's just, that's how it works. Everybody's all talking about her conditioning like that's ever been an issue before. And she had one fight where she wasn't conditioned. What does that fucking mean? Oh, that probably means she had a bad camp. One thing to pay attention to is she weighed in mad early. 135. Done. I don't think Juliana Pena has weighed in yet, and it's like 11 on Friday. So that is telling. Her weight cut is done. She's already rehydrating Amanda Nunes. Juliana Pena has not weighed in yet. Let's talk about their lifestyles after the fight. Amanda Nunes started a gym and started training her ass off. Juliana Pena continued doing what she was doing with added media, added interviews, added appearances, all the champion editions around her that she had no choice but to do. So it's not like she's gonna be like, no, I need to train. Like, no, bitch, you're champion. Go fucking do some shit. So Amanda Nunes is grinding, working, doing everything possible. Juliana Pena is doing everything possible, but there's less possible for her because she has all these new responsibilities because she's champ now. And that's something that Amanda kind of probably got tired of. Like, I gotta do all this shit and train. And you lose the belt. It's like, okay, cool. I don't gotta do all this shit. I just gotta train. So Amanda is taking this one. I think Juliana Pena is enjoying the moment, and it's a great story to kind of top off the GOAT status of Amanda Nunes. And don't be surprised if she retires if she gets her belt back. But I definitely see Amanda taking that. So yeah, those are my picks, guys. Put your money up. I'm pretty confident in them. If I wasn't, I'll tell you. I'm not gonna I don't want people losing money off me. But I'm pretty confident in these picks. It's almost kind of obvious. But it's gonna be a good night of fights. I'm excited. Gotta make another video with you guys, back here with you. Gonna keep working it, getting better. I made a video yesterday, but I was setting up the whole everything. And then I sat down to make a video and I was fucking drained. So and I hated it. It was just like, oh, it's like when I said in the first video, I just fucking talked and said nothing. So here I am. I got energies and vibes and shit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I talk to y'all, bring you some MMA shit. And yeah, let's fucking get it. UFC 277, get your money up.